where I tell stories about actual billable work that I do for my real-world small business clients. And I'm going to pick up where I left off. Let's see, this would be on Monday this week. A company that, and this is the first appearance for this company in Tech Tales. This company is I'd say, wholesale distributor of electrical components. And so I'm actually reading from their website here. As usual in Tech Tales, I'm not going to actually say the company name because I haven't run this by them. But anyway, they sell terminals, electrical connectors, wire, many hard to find items, terminals and connectors, wires, nylon tiles, clamps, fuses, accessories, tubing, tape, battery products, hardware, quick disconnects, battery terminals, clamps and test clips, trader plugs, switches, grommets, chemicals, hardware tools, metal boxes, and racks. Crazy stuff that you would not find in the corner hardware store. So they sell to other stores, I imagine, and industry customers. They take orders through their online store and through their physical store here in my town, Fresno, California. And they contacted me, the owner of the business called me on Monday. So this was phone and remote support to fix Outlook on his computer. Now he's using Outlook 2010. There are some unusual circumstances having to do with the vertical market software that they use for their retail business that has them a little bit kind of 1 foot in the old world and 1 foot in the new world with how they do things. So he's with Outlook 2010 and using a Gmail account, and all of a sudden it just stopped working. So I connected remotely to his computer, and the solution, which I got to pretty quickly because I had a suspicion, was to reset the security settings in his Gmail account to allow less secure apps. Well, when I took him into that screen, he says, "Oh yeah, I was just in here." And I think he was prompted somewhere along the line that his account was insecure, and probably asked him, "Do you want to secure this?" And he clicked to do that. The problem is that Outlook 2010 is a less secure app. As a matter of fact, I think even in some webmail accounts, the current version of Outlook is also treated as an insecure app, and you have to turn that on to allow less secure apps. I'm not certain about that last comment, but it seems to me like I bumped up against that in one occasion. So once we fixed that, then he started back on the subject that we've talked about before about upgrading his computer so that he can move to the online version of the point of sale software that he's using, which is what has him stuck with the older technology. The vendor for the locally installed software that he's using still kind of sort of supports it. I guess I'm a little foggy on that, but they're really wanting him to move to the online version. And we tried that 2 or 3 years ago, and it seems that we had some troubles with it. And also I think the accounting software that he has was tied to the desktop version of the point of sale software. So going to the online version of the point of sale software is going to cause him a dilemma as to how he does his accounting, because right now his older style of accounting software is linked to the desktop version of the point of sale software. So when he goes to the web version of the point of sale software, we're going to have to readdress the accounting software, and we're kind of expecting that to be a nightmare. So it has been postponed and postponed and postponed. So now he said, well, let's go ahead and move forward. Just go ahead and order the new computer. So he's going to need 3 new computers. And I said, well, rather than ordering 3 new computers, why don't we, I'm going to back up a little bit. I started asking, well, how are we going to do this? Are the new computers going to go straight to the web version, or do the new computers need to be able to operate the obsolete version of the point of sale software? And he said, yeah, they need to be able to run that. I said, well, let's just order one computer to start with and get that working with the old version of the software and make sure that it will work. Because I remember, it seems to me, that when we went to Windows 7, which I think is what he still has, when we went to Windows 7, we had to use a 32-bit version because the 64-bit version would not work with the desktop version of his point of sale software. I'm not sure I'm remembering that right, but it was a bit of a catch-22 problem. So rather than ordering all three computers, he's not in a rush. He doesn't have a deadline. I told him, let's just order one, get it working, and work through whatever issues we might have to deal with. So that remote connection and that phone conversation was a 20-minute billable charge. Then the next one, also on Monday, was another attorney. This is a senior attorney in one of the firms that I've talked about before, but I've never talked about this particular attorney. And this is regarding her home office setup, and she wants a new printer. She doesn't like the printer that she currently has. We've been through a few printers for her home environment, and it's been a little bit, I'm not sure if frustrating is the right word, but for her to order a new printer about once every 2 years, it just feels a little excessive to me, meaning we haven't found the right fit for her yet. We've tried a different type of printer each time. She needs color, so that's going to be either ink or laser. She needs to be able to scan, and I want it to connect with a USB cable to her computer. I don't trust the Wi-Fi connection, or the printers keep pushing to wireless connection or web-based connection, even Ethernet cable. I'd rather to have the USB cable. Now, really the reason for that is the scanning. The scanning with the USB cable can be initiated from the computer, and it doesn't seem to break as much. Whereas if I connect the multifunction printer to the Ethernet cable, then we have to configure sharing on the computer and configure the printer to be able to find that computer through the network to be able to deliver the scanned image to it. And I just find that breaks too much and generates too many service calls, or more than a USB cable does anyway. So what I was doing then is actually just pre-selecting printers. This was not a phone conversation with her. I think she had texted me a couple days prior to this time slip asking for a new printer. So she's something like, would you get me a new printer? I don't like this one. I want something about the one that she has now feels flimsy to her, or not, I don't remember the word that she used. And so this was a 15-minute charge to pre-select some printers. I'm going to take a different approach here. I want to connect remotely to whatever computer she's setting at and show her the printers that I've pre-selected and let her be involved in the selection, because I'm not comfortable or happy with the fact that I have selected the last few printers for her, thinking that she'll like this one, and it hasn't worked out. So I want her involved with this. Now, it doesn't guarantee that she's going to wind up liking it, but maybe we can ferret out something that would make this go smoother. So let's see, what do I have next? Is it a short conversation or a long one? I think that's short enough. I've spoken about this as one of the 3 not retirement, but elderly and disabled government-assisted housing complex or apartment building. And I was on the phone and remotely connected to the administrator's computer because the CPA that handles their books takes a copy of their QuickBooks file about once a month or once every other month. I'm not quite sure how often. And we recently changed the way that operates. The CPA used to connect using LogMeIn to the computer and use the file download and file transfer procedure to copy the QuickBooks file out. Now, while the CPA has the QuickBooks file, the office cannot make changes within QuickBooks. They can open it, they can look at things, but if they make any changes, they're going to have to re-enter that stuff because this CPA office takes a copy of the whole file. Neither side is really interested enough to learn how to do the QuickBooks accountant's copy method. And I've described it to both of them, and really the reason why they're not interested in that is because it's not a big deal. The CPA takes a copy of the file, they do their work, they have it back to my client's office the next day, and there's no problem with waiting that period of time. So they just don't want to add the extra learning of how that operates. And I think that's a good choice. Well, the method we're using now, the administrator in this office needs to make a QuickBooks backup to a OneDrive folder. And that OneDrive folder is shared to the CPA's office. So the CPA has an icon on their desktop. They just double click that, it opens the shared folder, and they just drag that backup file to their local drive, actually to their server, and then they restore it. And then to reverse that process, they'll do the CPA's office will back up QuickBooks and then drag that backup file to their OneDrive folder, or to the shared OneDrive folder. I don't think they back it up directly to that OneDrive folder. And then at that point, the administrator can copy that back, or actually do a restore from that OneDrive shared folder back into QuickBooks, and they're back in business. For the administrator, this is a little more work than it used to be in the days when the CPA's office did the LogMeIn connection. So anyway, what she was calling me for is that when she goes to do the QuickBooks backup, it's not automatically navigating to the location that she last did that backup to, meaning the OneDrive folder. So I taught her how to maneuver to that. It used to work, meaning she would do the backup to that OneDrive folder. Next time she tries to do the backup, it would go to that folder again. And it is configured on the options button to use that folder. But when she actually gets to the dialog screen that for choosing a location, it's going to the desktop. It's defaulting to the desktop. I don't know why. So I just taught her how to do that, how to maneuver to that. And did I create a shortcut? No, I considered putting a quick access shortcut, so on the left-hand panel, we'll just have that folder up there. And I decided, no, I'd rather her learn or understand how to maneuver to the correct folder. It's not many clicks. So, because other times when I've done that quick access method, sometimes that gets broken. So it's less things that can go wrong if she understands how to maneuver to the OneDrive folder. So what was that? That was 10 minutes. Took longer for me to talk about it than it took to do it, almost. I think that'll be the end of this Tech Tales. I'll catch you next time. And what I do on my channel is what I want to do is to be able to provide free support to people over Zoom and remote connections to their computers. To do that, send an email to me at the address on your screen, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com. Whether it's you or maybe one of your clients or a friend or relative or neighbor, or maybe you're a computer technician and you got something that you think would be good for the world to be able to see the actual episode of a problem that is where you already know the fix. Let me document it on YouTube. So any of those methods, whatever project you have in mind, reach out to me and love to put that together. So I hope this has been useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.